Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is the bonus footage from my time with the Tac-45. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering where the FHJ video is. I kind of thought I'd postpone it until later this week. So it's probably going to come either Thursday, and then the SWAT on Friday, or maybe Friday, Saturday, I don't know. But there is going to be 2 weapon guide videos this week. I'm also planning on getting the EOTech attachment guide done, hopefully this weekend. I should be able to do it. I mean, the scripts are nearly written for all 3. Well, the FHJ script is written. It just needs to be edited. The SWAT's mostly written and the EOTech is also mostly written. They need a bit of work doing, but all of the clips are ready to go and most of the graphics are done as well, so it should be a bonanza weekend for Xbox Ahoy videos. Fancy that, eh? But anyway, let's clear these Tac-45 clips off my hard drive and answer some questions, why don't we? Richard Gent says, Stu, what would you say are your most favourite moments from the Call of Duty single-player campaigns? I suppose there are quite a few moments, aren't there? Let's go all the way back to Call of Duty 1. I'll try and pick one moment from each of the Call of Duties, why don't we? Call of Duty 1, probably my favourite bit there is probably the first bit of the Soviet campaign where you were only given a clip of Mosin bullets. Otherwise, any of the sections with the old Captain Price, they're always good. Call of Duty 2, I've got to say probably the potato training mission, again the Russian campaign. Call of Duty 3, probably the weakest offering, but there was a Jeep section, which was actually pretty exciting. I quite enjoyed that. Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, it's got to be the nuke sequence, hasn't it? That was probably one of the more pivotal moments in any game of recent history. That was a game changer. World at War probably had less standout moments for me, but anything with Reznov is always a good section. Maybe the bit where you start off half dead in a fountain with Reznov and you have to sneak your way through, is it Stalingrad then? I think it's Stalingrad. Modern Warfare 2, in retrospect, pretty good campaign. As for a favourite moment, possibly the Captain Price / Prisoner 627 reveal. As for Black Ops, again, I don't know, I think the Black Ops ones have weaker campaigns. Maybe it's just me. I did, however, like the 1945 flashback mission to the frozen wastes, although it was quite odd to see the British as the bad guys. Modern Warfare 3, again, not the strongest campaign, but I've got to say the ending was probably, well, it was about as good as it could have been, and it did have some pretty nice visual moments going on there. And once again, anything with Captain Price in it is generally, a good thing. As for Black Ops 2, do you know, I can't think of one defining moment of the campaign. There are some bits that are alright, but again, I don't know. I think the Modern Warfare games probably do a better campaign, if I'm honest, and they have arguably a better use of their characters. But, that's just an opinion, and I expect, fully that some people do, in fact, prefer the Black Ops campaigns to the Modern Warfare ones. And that's fine, because, opinions are cool. If we're talking overall, though, then I think it's probably the moments from the first earliest Call of Duties, Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, that are the most resonant, and especially Call of Duty 4. I mean, even Call of Duty's harshest critics will probably admit that Call of Duty 4 was a remarkably good game. And of course, as we know, many games have gone on to actually try and emulate what Call of Duty 4 did for the first-person genre. It's a remarkably influential game. Anyway, moving on to the next question. Ragnut inquires, here is a silly question, is your Xbox white or black? Alright, so let's talk hardware. For my recording Xbox, I actually have a black Elite with a 120GB hard drive. Had that for a few years now, but it's not my oldest. I also have a white premium 20GB hard drive, and that lives downstairs. That's kind of part of my home entertainment setup, but it does see less overall use. So there you go, I have a black one and a white one in the name of equality. Both of them, in actual fact, have suffered from the Red Ring of Death, but both have had a little holiday in Germany where they've been repaired by Microsoft. So they're actually both functional, and they hopefully should last until the next Xbox comes along. Alright, next question. Jake of G11 says, Hey Stu, M1911 or Tac-45? Which do you prefer? If we're talking about in-game depiction, then probably the Tac-45. The M1911 was always... it wasn't the best pistol in Black Ops, I'll be honest with you. I was all about the CZ75 or the Python back then. And, no, I like the Tac-45 in Black Ops 2. The two-hit kill is actually really nice. It finally feels as though they've done justice for a .45 caliber weapon. Now, if we're talking about the real-life pistols, both are good pistols. The M1911 is an American classic, and it is a very, very solid handgun, but of the two, I'd probably go for the F&P, for the simple reason that it's a more modern, arguably better design. They both have their roots in Browning designs. Well, Browning obviously designed the M1911 himself, and it's the legacy of the high power, the Browning's high power pistol, that sort of inspired or shaped the design of the FNP. I believe the swinging barrel lock is the same in both designs. But, I mean, the fact is, the M1911 is now, what, 102, 103 years old? So while it is a great classic design, I do believe a modern pistol probably has a few more advantages, you know, like modern materials, and I think it's a dual stack design, so it's probably got better capacity, and all that sort of thing. And that, you know, it's tactical as well. I like the fact that the F&P is a little bit tactical. I'll take mine in flat dark earth, please. Thank you very much. Okay, next up, Tin Popo 1 says, in your opinion, what is better, the TAC or the 5.7? Well, I've covered both of them now in Black Ops 2, and I've got to say, I went into this with the expectation that the Tac-45 would be better. I mean, more damage, right? That has to be better. But while I like both and I had a good time with each of them, I've got to say I think the 5.7 is the better weapon overall. At least if my statistics are to be believed, I have a slightly better KD with the 5.7. I do believe that you do need to have a fairly decent trigger finger to make maximum use of the 5.7, so if your trigger finger's lacking a little bit, then you might be better off with the Tac-45. But it's got double the magazine capacity. I mean, outside of the 2-hit kill zone, basically damage is identical, but the 5.7 has lower recoil, which means you can use the 5.7 at a longer range much more effectively. It's a much more versatile weapon. If I was going to run pistol only, the 5.7 would be my first choice of the two semi-automatic options. However, I think the Tac-45 might actually be a better secondary pistol. If you only use it within a certain zone, within that 2-hit kill zone, the damage will probably prove to be pretty useful. But overall, my stats say the 5.7 is better, so there you go. I am Mr. Friend29 says, have you been enjoying the new season of Top Gear, Stu? Absolutely, yes, I have been watching Top Gear this season, but I've not been watching it when it's been broadcast. I'm catching up with it during the week on iPlayer. And it's still good, it's still entertaining, and I do enjoy it. But I can't help but, you know, worry that they're getting a little bit old now. With every passing season that goes on, it's becoming less and less like traditional Top Gear and more like something like Last of the Summer Wine. I mean, I'm okay with that. It has a charm, to an extent, but I wonder if Top Gear will ever be sort of rejuvenated with an injection of fresh blood. The Mitzinator says, you've probably answered this before, but I'm curious. Do you play Call of Duty because you like it, or just because it's popular? Well, I've got to say, I actually do quite enjoy Black Ops 2. I mean, I guess I'm locked into playing it for a year, which, I don't know. I'd certainly give it a few months, if I had free choice. A whole year? Maybe not. But there is a really solid meta game, and the fact that I can, you know, unlock gold camo for all of the weapons and get a player card for it, that kind of helps as far as longevity is concerned. I mean, I honestly believe the meta game in Black Ops 2 is pretty solid. I like the way the challenges are structured. And I've reached Prestige Master now, which is good news, because it means I don't have to bother prestiging. I've got everything unlocked. So I can just focus on finishing challenge and stuff like that. And the game itself, the bit where you shoot people, it's fine. It can be frustrating. But as long as you detach yourself from sort of having too high of an expectation when it comes to stuff like your statistics, your stats, and all that rest of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm okay at this game. I'm not going to claim to be the best at Call of Duty, but I can hang. No, I think the best way to enjoy Black Ops is to be humble and to sort of realise that there are other people out there who can also play the game as equally well as I am able to. So, yeah, I mean, I do enjoy Black Ops 2, but for me, most of the enjoyment comes from the metagame and the unlocks, and kind of just the process of actually producing an entire video series is actually quite satisfying in itself. Trust me, once I've done 42, 43, however many videos it ultimately turns out to be, I will be very happy indeed. And not happy because I can then stop doing it, but happy because I'll have been satisfied with a job well done, you know? Not only will I be able to take a bit of a break, I'll also have a whole library of videos that sort of catalogue my time with Black Ops to show for it as well. That's a very satisfying part of this job, and it's almost part of the metagame as well. Where's My Breadbox says, hey Stu, how do you feel about professional gaming glasses? Well, I guess we're talking about gunner optics here, the yellow-tinted, supposedly glare-reducing options. Now, I should probably preface this by saying I've never actually had any experience with gunners, so maybe if I was sent a free pair, I might change my opinion, but whilst I recognise the fact that yellow-tinted glasses might actually reduce glare and may very well reduce eye strain for longer gaming sessions, I don't really see the value in them. Certainly not for the extortionate value that they are offering. I do sometimes wear glasses to play games, but they are obviously prescription lenses. I am very slightly myopic. I have about, I think I'm a half degree in both eyes, myopic, with a half degree of astigmatism, and I can't remember which eye it is actually. So sometimes I will wear my glasses if I want, you know, that little bit of extra definition. Well, they aren't yellow tinted, and I don't think that matters really. I guess I don't really suffer from eye strain that much. I do work with screens a lot. I mean, obviously my job, as far as videos and editing and that sort of thing, all very screen heavy, and then playing games as well, screen heavy again. I do try to take the occasional screen break. I probably don't take as many as I should, but I generally do okay. If you're looking to improve your KD, gunners are probably a waste. The eye randomness says, where would you see the Xbox Ahoy channel going if Call of Duty were to be, say, scrapped? Well, it's a pretty simple answer, really. I'd cover other Xbox games. I'm kind of locked into a single platform with the name of the channel. But, well, as long as the Xbox exists as a popular gaming platform, there are going to be some pretty big multi-platform titles that I can cover. So I'd cover other games, simple as that. What games would they be? I don't know. It's my inclination that maybe in the future I'm going to move away from spending an entire year on a single game, and instead move to short seasons, maybe 6 weeks. Maybe in the case of a big game, a big title, or a title that I particularly enjoy, maybe do slightly longer, maybe 12, 20-week series. But I think it would be a risk to embark on a 45-week season, like a comprehensive weapon guide for Call of Duty would demand. So yeah, shorter seasons and a greater variety of games is probably what I'm ultimately going to end up doing. I think for some people there is some concern that if you move away from Call of Duty you'll see a drop in views, but I'm pretty confident if I put the effort in and if I cover, you know, an interesting variety of games that are at least semi-popular, then as long as I do one video a week I could probably sustain a reasonably healthy level of income. I'm pretty sure there are some gaming communities that would be pretty grateful for some, you know, reasonably high quality videos produced for them. And although the community might be smaller, there'll be less competition, so it might actually work out in my favour. I mean, you see a few channels that have moved to other games that have done remarkably well. Some guys who used to do COD who now do stuff like DayZ, they're doing alright for themselves. I think in this business it pays to be flexible, and I mean, I think I am flexible to move to other game. I mean, I would say my core skills extend to writing scripts and editing videos rather than, you know, doing stuff like getting 100+ gameplays on Call of Duty. And I mean, I've covered other games as well. I did a Homefront guide. I was originally planning on doing a short season for Homefront, 6 episodes. I mean, if you're wondering, obviously I got picked up by Activision and I had to derail that plan, but there you go. I also did the Minecraft guide, which was a joke, but every so often I see a comment on there that says, please do more Minecraft guides. I suppose the only real question is, you know, what games would I do? And that's a good question. Right now, today, what would I do? I would probably, I don't know, I'd probably do maybe a short series on Crysis 3. I could do one-off videos for, you know, games that maybe demand less. I think Crysis 3 has a solid enough multiplayer to probably do a few episodes. Something like Dead Space 3 for the co-op, you know, I could probably do, you know, maybe even a slightly more comedic angle, like a tongue-in-cheek guide for dealing with necromorphs, something like that. And it would give me a chance to, you know, do some fancy new graphics, maybe get some blood-stained manual-looking things. I mean, the video itself would basically boil down to, you know, the tips would be like, shoot the limbs, stomp every corpse you see. But I think if you spent the time and if you actually did your research and actually acquaint yourself with a game, I think, yeah, I think I'm pretty confident I could make entertaining videos across quite a few different games. As to what I'll cover in the future, it's impossible to say. I'm considering my options, let's just put it that way, and it may very well turn out that Black Ops 2 is the last year-long series that I do. Perhaps instead of doing every single weapon for Modern Warfare 4 and taking all year to do it, Maybe I'll do a 10-week series and lump the weapon categories together, or maybe I'd split it a different way, maybe be less weapon-focused and focus instead on different styles of play, that sort of thing. It remains to be seen anyway, but with the new consoles coming out, I think that might shake things up, so I think banking a whole year on the next COD probably, I don't know, that might be a risk in itself. So I'm going to stay flexible. I'm going to finish the Black Ops 2 series, make no mistake, but after that, I'm going to be checking my options. That was a long one. I'm sorry about that. But just, you know, the future of my channel is kind of something that I do put a lot of thought into. Let's try and speed through as many questions as we can from here on out. The Grizzly52 says, what's your favourite hard liquor? I do enjoy a cocktail. None of that fancy, you know, girly Mai Tai stuff. No, I prefer the classical cocktails. I'm a big fan of an old-fashioned. What's an old-fashioned? It's whiskey or bourbon, sugar, water, bitters, garnish. Very, very simple drink. It's a sweeter, slightly longer alternative to drinking scotch on the rocks. And it's a thoroughly enjoyable drink in its own right. Zombie Ponage X says, what's your favourite Tom Clancy video game series? Definitely Rainbow Six, although I wasn't the biggest fan of Vegas. Raven Shield is my favourite in the series. XX Donate 2 XX wants to know if I'm going to be doing more right first time. I will. I will probably do another Black Ops episode, and I'll probably do the odds and ends that I did for Modern Warfare 3, so Time to Kill, Weapons of Modern Warfare, that sort of thing. And I'll try and do those in time for the end of the Black Ops 2 series, where I'll do a right first time for the Black Ops 2 scripts. Joe Basilio says, Stu, what's your opinion on the PS4? And what are your hopes for the next Xbox? Well, we've had the PS4 sort of reveal event. We actually haven't seen the PS4 itself, but I'm still interested. I'm probably going to get one on launch. Same for the Xbox, of course. As for my hopes for the Xbox, I don't know. I just hope it's, you know, comparable at the very least to the PS4. And we have another happy generation where graphics are noticeably improved and, well, I suppose it really comes down to the games, doesn't it? I'm hoping for a new wave of decent games and maybe some sort of paradigm changes. That would be nice. MoD Xbox left a whole tirade of comments decrying my use of a modded controller. Which is particularly amusing to me because I've never used a modded controller. I have used the Razer Onza in the past until it broke, but now I'm back to the regular old stock Xbox controller. You can tell I'm doing it manually because when I use dual wield, my left trigger finger is noticeably worse than my right trigger finger. Largely because it's less practiced. But I don't care if you don't believe me. I'm not going to resort to making some sort of stupid proof video where I prove that I can pull the trigger 600 times a minute just for your own personal satisfaction. No, I'm just going to call you a fool in the bonus footage and assert that I am not using a modded controller. Kellen Kiesler says, Stu, have you noticed any improvements in your writing style over the years? I think my Black Ops 2 scripts are better than anything I've done in the past. I don't know. Practice does make perfect. Hybrid 547 says, peanut or regular M&Ms? I like the peanut ones, but every so often you get a bad peanut. So I'm going to stick with the regular good old chocolatey goodness of the regular ones. Finally, DJ Bucker says, are you excited for Destiny? I guess I am. I've never really sort of been a true hardcore Halo fan, and I expect Destiny is going to be very similar to Halo in many respects. But I've always admired Bungie and the games that they produce because they are inevitably of an incredibly high quality. So I'm pretty confident Destiny will be a very popular game. And you never know, I may very well end up making videos for it. Anyway, that's about all the clips I've got. So thus ends the bonus footage. Thank you very much for watching. I shall see you this week for the FHJ and the SWAT 556 and maybe even the EOTech attachment guide. On top of all these things, I'm going to do another Xbox Ahoy Plays video. It's probably going to be a PC game this week. It's a rather interesting indie game that I'd like to share with you guys. So until then, farewell.